Okay, hello everyone. So one question I get a lot is after I have painted something and I don't like it, how can I lift it in watercolor? So of course it's different for every medium, but we're talking about watercolor today. And so I thought I would show you something that I'm working on for one of my personal paintings. And this section, this blue area, is the wrong color. And even when I have planned out everything and drawn that and tested out my colors together, sometimes I am surprised by a color and how it will interact with the other colors. And so I've decided that I'm going to, there's two ways I could handle this. I could paint over it with some gouache, like a really thick gouache. I had previously purchased this white paint that did not do what I thought it was going to do, and I think you can only use it in small amounts. So that is not an option for us because this is a really large section, and I'll show you that paint that I'm talking about in just a second so you have a visual. But the other thing you can do, because this is a pretty sturdy piece of paper, so you can see on the decal edge here, this is handmade, cold pressed watercolor paper made out of cotton fibers that are just like you made paper when you were a little kid, chopping up pulp and putting it into like a screen. I don't know if anyone's made paper out there that's listening. But so because this is kind of thick, I'm going to take a chance on this and try to lift this piece of paper. And if I ruin it, it's okay, because I'll just cut up the rest of the painting and it will become postcards for my dear friends. So I'm gonna let you watch today, and hopefully we will succeed together, or even if we fail together, we will learn. Okay, so I'm gonna put this on time lapse. You won't hear me talking, but I'm gonna describe to you real quick what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna use a lot of water on a dry brush, and I'm gonna lift the paint with a wet brush, and then I'm gonna dry out the brush, and then I'm gonna do the same process over again. It's sort of the reverse of how you got it on here. Now there are 2 line, maybe 3. I think there's 3 layers. There's 2 layers of ultramarine blue and 1 layer of Mayan blue from the Primatech line, and so I'm not sure how they are going to cooperate with me. And then I'm going to, once it's dry, I'm gonna lay some ink on top of this. So that is a story for another day. Now, since I have this really nice clean edge, I'm gonna go ahead and tape it down first before we begin. All right, thanks for listening. And if you like watching this kind of thing or hearing about this, I do have a, what do you call it? A YouTube channel. A YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. If you click on the link in my bio, it takes you to my newsletter, and you will hear all about that in my newsletter. Okay, thanks again. Okay, I just put this back on regular video for a minute because I want to just make sure I'm describing what I'm doing. This is called scrubbing, and if you've taken any of my classes, you know that I tell you to not scrub, because if you have an inexpensive piece of paper or you're in your sketchbook, you can damage the cotton surface of the paper. Now, I know I can scrub this paper a little bit because it is heavier duty, and because of that heavy duty quality, it is a little more rugged. So I know it can handle it, but still I have to watch for any kind of cotton pilling, just like you would see with a sweater. You can see some kind of pilling, okay? And so I'm scrubbing a little bit, drying off my brush, and then lifting the pigment, which is the opposite of putting the pigment on, okay? And then, but this is a really great trick to know how to use, because I lift all the time, even while I'm painting. So if something is happening that I don't like, I just quickly grab a dry brush and lift it off. Okay, and this is getting a little bit delicate in here, so I'm gonna scrub it with this brush, but I'll lift it with this dry brush, and I'm gonna leave that alone. okay, and I can kind of almost hear your questions. I've been a teacher for a few years, so I can tell when, can almost feel students' questions. You're wondering maybe why won't I just blot it with a paper towel after I wet it? And the reason being, when you use a paper towel, it is a great tool if you're going to make clouds in your landscape, or you want to leave some kind of interesting texture. But a lot of blotting will leave a texture. And so for this reason, I am not using any kind of blotting method today, because I want this to, you know, I want to lift this as much as possible and not leave too much texture behind. I'm also making a little bit of a mess here and here, and I'm not going to worry about that too much because I'm going to clean that up later with a finer brush.